Oh yeah, we're gonna do this again. Hey,
We are live.
we are live
and alive.
and alive.
Let's give it a couple of beats.
A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
No. Stick with the bass line. Come on.
I used to play bass. How could you tell?
I mean, you didn't play it well,
No, but
but
I
you
played
played it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm very bright.
Yeah.
I'm almost sun-bleached.
So, without further ado, it's gonna make it worse.
No. That's roughly the same.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna be any
But
better.
I feel like I did something, and that's all that matters. It's like the Special Olympics.
Our, corporate positions.
I don't have a corporate position.
So, welcome again, everyone, to the next episode of the Foally of Man. My name is Chris, and with me here today,
Robert.
hello.
Yes. And think of the Foally of Man as the soothing balm to the sunburn of mediocre entertainment.
Yes, because it does hurt sometimes, and we're here to help.
And Mimzinga's here.
Hello, I'm Zenga.
Thank you for being here.
So, we are going to be looking at a book called Foally Equestria, Pink Eyes.
Yeah. The good kind of pink eyes, not the kind of conjunctivitis that's highly infectious and stings.
Yes, it is based on an original piece.
Now, Christopher, you got to get into a little bit, get a little bit of the sizzle on the steak there. It's based on original text by K-Cat. She's a good author.
Indeed, yes.
Yes, and it is a book called Foally Equestria. And Foally
It
Equestria.
is loved by the people of Russia.
Are you a Russian pony?
Ukrainian.
Russo-American pony.
It's a Russo-Finnish
God.
production.
I just realized there's got to be Russian bronies.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah. And they love Foally Equestria.
Of course they do. What? They are obsessed with anything that's Cold War.
Well, anything that's post-apocalypse. It's like the U.S. and Russia. We both love post-apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
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 Apocalypse. Oh yeah, it's my favorite movie. Apocalypse Now. A Pony Lips Now.
Yes. So the trick is that it is a blending of My Little Pony and Fallout.
Fallout. Yeah, and this guy here, since you're a brony, you eat that shit up. And I'm not a brony, and I love Fallout though. So it's kind of a happy medium.
Yes.
And I have been dragged into the deep, dark waters of My Little Pony commitment.
Oh, yes.
I feel as though I'm drowning in pony lore.
Delicious.
It's great. When we started this series many moons ago, basically what it would be is we'd come across stuff and I'd be like, I guess this is a reference and I don't get it. But now that enough time has transpired, there's a lot of references that I get.
Oh, yes.
I probably know more about the main characters. What would you call them? The ministry mayors.
Yes.
But what would you call them in
The main
actual My Little
six.
Pony?
The main
So you call them the main six, MANE 6?
MANE 6. You were correct.
Of course they are. But I probably know more about them than most little girls.
Yes.
So that's upsetting. Although,
Welcome to the herd.
and with that, we should probably get into this episode. So this week we are covering chapter
11.
11.
Family Doodles.
Family Doodles?
I think it was Doodles.
Doodles? Yeah, probably. I mean, I hope it's Doodles. Not
Yeah.
Family Diddles.
However, with what happens in the chapter, you might not be surprised by the title.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. So, where do we start off with? Like any good story, it starts with a jolly spanking.
Yes.
A right rogering. I gotta be careful using terms like that. We do have some fans in the United Kingdom. Sorry, not fans, friends. We're all friends here. We don't have fans. You and I have to have
Interested viewers.
Yes, we have to have trusted and view. The Foally of Man would not exist were it not for the support of viewers like you. I also realize our European compatriots have no idea what we're talking about there, but that's a public television tagline here in the States. Anyways,
Anyways.
moving on. So Puppy Smiles is spanked by a bad pony. somebody who felt the need to punish her.
Mhm.
And this news got all the way to Lonesome Pony,
Yep.
who interrupts a radio broadcast, not his, to go on the air to share that news.
Yep.
And so much so that the pony that's supposed to be on the air is physically trying to stop him. and well, anyways, he gets the upper hoof, as one might say, gets the upper hoof, and even says that, your normal DJ is currently tied up with electrical cables.
At which point you hear her screaming. Yes. So Puppy Smiles got a little bit of a paddling.
Yeah. Well, that's a paddling.
It is. Back talking the guards. Much a paddling.
Destroying a sentinel with a rock.
Much a paddling.
Talking back to him. You better believe that paddling. So, anyways, then as Puppy moves along, she happens across a group of foals, a set of twins.
Mm-hmm.
One's named Ricochet, and the other one's named, I don't know, Ditsy Dewberry. I don't know. That's just fucking made up name. I'm Banana Cream Pie.
Yeah, I've forgotten completely myself. But mind you, we are in the gates of what is effectively called Rust Manor.
Rust Manor. Yeah.
Yes. It's actually less of a manor and more of a collection of different buildings.
Yeah.
With her point of interest focused solely upon a centralized structure in the middle of town.
It's a tree, right?
I believe
a big dead tree. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know if that was, but like these are not traditional equestrian landmarks, right?
Yeah.
As I understand it. In the last book, there were in K-Cat's book, there were equestrian landmarks.
Yes.
It was very much like this is Ponyville and this is Canterlot.
Yep.
And that sort of thing. But there's none of that in this. Mime Zinga.
There is the prison center Shattered Hoof, which you remember from the show. No.
Yeah. No, but that's one of the things we've talked about before.
A flight control tower. Yes.
I like that Mime Zinga, like it's all kind of original content.
Yep.
Well, even though it's in worlds that already exist, all of the characters
extended world building, which stands on its own.
Absolutely. I also feel like the dialogue and the writing is getting better as we go along. It seems to be improving.
Oh yeah,
drastically.
Yeah, we're breaking away from like singular character interactions to multiple character interactions, which are organic.
We're moving away from every chapter having resolution.
Yep.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That there's some drama at the end of the chapters, or at least a cliffhanger.
Oh, yes.
But anyways, where were we? So she's talking to the twins bickering and fight all the time. She tells them a little bit about her story, about being a bad pony, and about how she didn't mean to break the blue bottle, and about her mommy would be upset. But anyways, the twins basically bicker. Constantly, incessantly. It's a boy and a girl. And then there's also another boy, and I don't remember his name, a colt, I should say. And he barters with Puppy Smiles to trade her. They're talking about this character. And what's the character?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember. It is the it's a space character based on Captain Cosmos. I think it is Captain Cosmos. And because she has the space suit, of course, and she notices that he has Space Captain Andromeda. There we go.
Yeah,
thank you, Mime Zinga, for helping us on our ways.
Yeah, I was going to say you got to it right as I got to it. But anyways, he says, I actually have this blaster rifle that would make you. I mean, this toy gun that would make you look more like Space Captain Andromeda.
Because it's space,
but it's girly and it doesn't work, and so. I don't really want it, so we'll figure out something. But apparently, she exchanges 42 boxes of muffins for it.
Yes.
And it's so many muffins, he literally can't carry them all.
Yeah, that's obviously a joke based on how the carry weight and carry capacity of Fallout works. Yeah. Where somehow it doesn't matter how big an object is, just on its weight.
Yeah. Yeah, never mind. Well, it's just like, so a game that does that effectively would be like Resident Evil.
Or, yeah. Or Stalker, hilariously enough, speaking of post-apocalypse games and Russians. Stalker had a space inventory system similar to...
You sure know a lot about the Russians. Perhaps he's a spy!
Stalker!
Oh God, CNN's going to run a story.
Let me cheeky breaky my Avamdamki for a second.
Prost.
They trade it for it, and she's like, "This is cool." Pulls trigger, and it connects.
Target locking on, syncing with gun, 12%.
Yeah, so what happens is it connects and actually links up with a satellite array that's sitting up there.
It's going to shoot down a solar beam. I've seen this before.
Ponipides satellite array. Let us remember that fires that is not currently in the correct orbit. The satellites have kind of migrated away from each other.
There's lasers piercing the heavens.
Yeah,
coming down to the ground, lighting up everything around them in an awful, terrifying way.
But they're not aligned enough to really do much direct damage.
Well, and what's great is that there's even a line that Mimzinga has that it's like, sometimes heroism is bravery, sometimes heroism is acting quickly, and sometimes it's just pure dumb luck.
Yeah.
Which, man, Puppy Smiles rolled a nat 20 when she was rolling for luck.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Technically nat 10, because special only goes up to 10.
I know, but we're talking about the context of most tabletops, which are D20 based systems.
Yes,
I understand that it's a 10, but
anyway.
So, anyways, crisis averted, but now she has it.
Yeah, she does have the object, and it says
integrated with her.
It says, if I remember correctly, 24 hours until reconfiguration of satellites is completed.
Yeah. It's a weapon I actually never used in New Vegas.
It was.
I always did
It was awkward to use. It really was. It relied on so many things to work at once for you to actually make it work, and even then, it was only useful in a few situations.
Mimzinga says that in regards to her special for luck, Puppy Smiles is actually a 9 as a base stat, and the Rock of Destiny gives her a +1 to luck.
Wait, so if she was to just actually, in Fallout 4's terms, upgrade the special or use the your special book to upgrade to 10, would the +1 then give her 11?
You're saying she could turn it all the way up to 11?
Yeah, she could turn it all the way up to 11.
Does this one go to 11?
This one might go to 11. We'd have to ask my Mimzinga.
Well, it's like when people say, I need you to give 110%, and it's like, what? I can't do that.
Technically,
there's nothing more than 100%.
Technically, because the why can I not think? Space shuttles were developed over a series of decades. The technical configuration was actually designed and based on technology that was available in the late 60s was when they first started development of the space shuttles. And so when the last one was produced, it could actually generate and maintain a power output of something like 110%. Because it's 110% of the original configuration.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So there's some interesting information.
More boring space shit. That's not what people come here for. Last time it was Saturn V rockets.
It was interesting space shit.
Yeah.
Space Captain Andromeda space shit. And the Ponipides satellite array space shit. Okay, so
that doesn't happen. And so she moves on. And she's going into the city. And she's looking for her mama.
Mm-hmm.
And she happens upon a brothel.
Yes.
And talking to the ladies of ill repute there,
who are like, "What are you doing here, little girl?"
And there's these grotesque statues,
5-legged ponies.
Proud, erect stallions.
Yes,
to say the least. And but she's asking for her mother, and she's like, "Well, we have a new pony. Let me bring her down. She might know." And she's like, "Nope, I'd remember having a foal."
Yeah.
You'd think. But what Puppy Smiles does notice is that behind one of the statues over in the corner is a crayon drawing on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That looks very familiar to her. And she has a flashback and goes back to the time when she was there with her mother, and when it used to just be like a bland, boring medical or military office.
Yeah.
In fact, it had to be some kind of military office because there were magazines with like guns and war and stuff like that on the table. And so she asks the matron, the madam of the brothel, "Can you read this to me? It's new. There's now a new drawing." When she was talking to her mother, she was drawing and her mother got upset at her. But she said, "I'm trying to remember Dad. I can't remember his colors." And it makes her mother very sad.
Yeah, I can't remember Dad's colors.
Yeah, I can't remember Dad's colors.
And that's it's a simple, and we talk about the writing getting better. It's a very simple way of portraying the horrors of war in an extraordinarily indirect way.
Yeah.
But it's also very personal. It would be in a way that Puppy Smiles could understand and convey. Because you think about the mind of a child.
She's so young, too. And I think that's what really kills it for Rainy Days. It's like, my child, does not remember what her father looks like.
Yeah.
That's how young she is.
And but I mean, from that perspective, how would you convey the horrors of war through her mentality?
Yeah, for sure. Well, anyways, the picture is changed in the present day, and instead of just Puppy Smiles and her mom, there is now a much better drawing, a third drawing, and the drawing is of Puppy Smiles' father.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a white stallion with a golden mane, very similar to Puppy Smiles' mane. And there's a note at the bottom that says, "All together, all happy.
Yeah.
Love Mom."
Yeah.
So her mom was here.
Yep.
Post the bombs drop.
Yep.
So Puppy Smiles is on the right, has, against all odds, is on the right track.
10 luck.
Yeah.
And Mimesika says, yes, 11 luck is possible. At which point she'd probably just break the space-time continuum.
Yeah. It's a good point that you made there. Last place said the picture had an effect on the younger mare, but the matron seems to handle it better.
Oh yeah, the younger mare was like breaking up.
She's torn up. Yeah.
And the matron just says, can we get this stallion statue out of here? We're not perverts.
Yeah, we're not perverts.
Which is completely wrong, but...
Yeah. Well, but it seems that this interaction has changed her, and that's
Yeah.
what Puppy Smiles does. She is a shining example of purity and the goodwill of ponies before the war.
The static point in the universe
Yeah.
in which all things must move around.
So what I'm saying is that all morality is based off Puppy Smiles and
Yes.
the Fall of Equestria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
It makes for an interesting protagonist because she's not the hero.
Enough about the Ubermensch.
Oh yes.
And Little Pip.
Oh boy.
We're gonna have to talk about that later.
The Ubermensch?
I'm wondering if did you actually have a conversation with K-Cat about that?
What?
About how we had
Oh yes,
about
yes.
Nietzsche.
Oh yeah. I think she made some kind of like clapping sound to it. I don't know if she intentionally. I still need to bug her on whether she intentionally came up with that or whether it was just.
Was it an ass clap? Was it an ass clip? Is she dummy thick?
No, she was sneaking around and got found out by this. I don't even know what the hell that meme is. What is that meme? What internet? What have you done? I want you to go sit in your room for like 15 minutes and think about what you've done.
The term "dummy thick" just came across the other day on the internet, and I'm like, well, that's great. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Anyways, I need to get back on par. So Puppy Smiles is still looking for her mother, and she happens across, or rather, this individual happens across her, a ghoul named Molten Gold.
Yes.
Molten Gold, and he looks like a dried out piece of leather ghoul. He is like a desert ghoul, mummified, essentially.
Yep.
And he is basically, gives her a lot of compliments, and it's like, I think we can strike out a deal. I'm a treasure hunter. I need your help finding this treasure.
Yeah.
It cuts to them at the place looking for treasure, and he's like, man, why'd she have to be so retarded?
Yeah.
I can't stand her. Infuriated from their conversation.
And he's kind of going back and forth. I guess he's close to his degradation date, let's say, because he kind of goes back and forth. You kind of can see this split personality almost forming. Because he will.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because I was just like, wow, he's really disingenuous. But it may not be being disingenuous.
Yeah.
It may literally be his brain falling apart.
Yeah, where he'll walk away like literally with her right behind him screaming out, why Celestia,
Yeah.
why is she so fucking retarded?
Yeah.
And then turning around and being pleasant as can be and absolutely smiling and happy.
That's what I mean. Like, you never know what's an act and what's not an act.
Yeah, so it could be the brain rotting. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. But anyways, while he's away, she gets a security pass.
Mhm.
And furthermore, he's told her he wants her to go into this facility and retrieve memory orbs.
Yep.
Which she keeps calling glass balls.
Because she doesn't understand what the concept of a memory is beyond.
Yeah. It's just she needs to find glass balls. And he's like,
Yep.
yes, go in there and get she's like, oh, you need me to research. Okay, so you want me to search twice? And he's like, no. Walk in the room and say to your suit, research, and it'll scan the room.
Yeah.
Again, just at his wit's end. But as Puppy gets into the facility, trying to get in, she comes across a big bully bot.
Yep.
A sentinel again.
Mhm.
And just as the sentinel is about to blow her up and light her ass up with munitions, it says, oh, not you again. And the screen goes from red to blue.
Oh, yes. Which it happens to be Mr. Blue Voice.
Yeah.
But I do like the line spoken by the bully bot when first rounding the corner, which is, "Stop right there, criminal scum!"
Oh, goodness gracious.
You've committed crimes against Skyrim and her people.
Yes.
Which is a different game.
Yeah. But good to know that we have a common antagonist has returned.
Yes.
So I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens.
We'll indeed see. But yeah, that kind of wraps up the chapter. Any thoughts? Any kind of? I know you've read the story before, so you know where we're headed. But
yeah,
what do you think?
I think this was definitely one of the better chapters. It spoke a lot about the connection. A connection that hasn't really been established yet, not fully, and it's the connection between Puppy Smiles and her mother.
Yeah.
Because very often you only see the one bridge from Puppy Smiles to her mother, and she describes how Rainy Days feels about her daughter, but that's still only her perspective of her mother.
Right.
You very rarely see her mother's...
There's been two instances, the audio log and now this picture.
Yeah.
And you understand that her mother truly... just loved her daughter completely. But think about it from her perspective. Her husband is dead, and all she had left in the world was her daughter.
She saw the world around her coming down around her ears, and she knew it was going to happen.
She did everything that she could in her mind to prepare her daughter for the end of the world.
Yeah.
All the codes, all the training, all the you need to go here and there. And ironically, when she misbehaved is actually what saved her life.
Yep. I mean, she would have ended up as the ghoul in the vault anyway, but it would have been a much different experience.
But that was a bad vault.
Yeah.
And when Canterlot went bye-bye, not so good. Not so good. Which up to this point has not occurred, or at least hadn't. I mean, again, because we're kind of running parallel to the main
well, I feel like we probably would have heard something on the radio. I can't remember if an announcement is actually made.
Like I said, I like that it's disconnected. I like that it's its own thing. I think that's really great that it's a derivation of a derivation, but you make it your own. You're dependent on the world that K-Cat put together, but you're not completely dependent on the characters.
Okay, so Mimzinga explains that the passcode she gave Puppy Smiles was not the access passcode, but a hacking passcode to hack into the stable. She gave her daughter a back way into the stable because I guess she couldn't have it otherwise.
Yeah, and it's a fair point that would be high treason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she loved her daughter more than the state, but that's how it should be.
That's how parents are. Yeah, that's how parents are. I mean, your child is the world to you, especially when your spouse is gone, because they are your spouse. They are the embodiment of everything you loved in your spouse and your child simultaneously.
Yeah.
And the only thing left especially in that setting, when she knows what's going to happen, it's the only part of Equestria left to her. The only thing. Mm-hmm. The only good in the world comes from this one beacon. And it's an important thing. It really is. And that's how it's sad. It is an exceptionally sad chapter. And I think that's one aspect to it is the line, "I've forgotten Dad's colors," carries almost more weight. And I know I take it back. It carries more weight than any single sentence or paragraph in this entire book so far.
Okay.
I think it really shows I think it shows her mentality. It shows her mother. It shows where she was, what she was doing, and everything around her in just a single
Mimzinga, no spoilers.
No. Bad.
I haven't read the story.
Bad.
You're the friggin' author.
Stop. Yes, I know. Sad face.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Duh.
Don't ruin it for him. Let's see. Last place says the suit might have had an effect on Puppy Smiles.
Mimzinga's like, if that's bad, man.
It seems not quite the Canterlot ghoul. No, it's explained that the suit definitely played an aspect in her growth and creation as a character.
If you think that's bad, the part where Puppy Smiles becomes a Canterlot ghoul super mutant is really going to blow your tits off.
Oh yeah, it's she actually turns into Frank Horgan.
Mimzinga says is a bad pony and knows it.
Yes, remember.
Well, then maybe you should wind up kind of like Puppy Smiles started this chapter with a spanking. That's what you do to bad ponies. You spank them.
Yes, apparently so.
By the way, I realized we toasted earlier, but we were talking about our Russian brothers, and what we should have said is Dostrovia.
Dostrovia.
Mm-hmm. How awful would it be if it broke the glass? I'm just holding shattered glass in my hands.
Well,
I don't know where to go from here. Oh, sure I do. Well, Chris.
of course you do.
You know, it's that time of the week again.
Yes.
Well, actually, since it's been a while, it's that time of the month. It's my time of the month. And when I say my time of the month, I, of course, mean the Pony Pun of the Week. The Pony Pun of the Week.
Pony Pun of the Week.
Chris, are you excited? I'm excited.
Sure. I am excited, but for not this reason.
I don't think you're very excited. And I think that the Pony Pun of the Week perfectly describes you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you are?
What?
You're a naysayer. A naysayer. For those of you at home listening to the audio version, Chris is shaking his head in contempt and shame.
That's not enough British for you. You need to go like Monty Python. For those at home, Chris is shaking his head in contempt and shame.
Mimzinga says that the only thing that would have been more Russian is if, or rather, that it would be very Russian if I was drinking my alcohol from a broken glass.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be.
Is Chris A.N. ? Trixie Fa? I am afraid
I am very nervous to answer that question.
I am not quite a Trixie fan.
Is Chris A.N.?
A.N.? Chris A.N. It looks like Chris A.F., but not quite as far.
My name is Christ Ian.
So no, I mean, Trixie's fun. She's all right. I think I preferred her writing in Fall at Equestria over what she ended up becoming in the show. I think she's more interesting.
Yeah, but see, you're like a My Little Pony hipster. You don't like the show anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to Brie about this, and I know we've mentioned this on the show before, about how she originally thought the Hot Diggity Demon videos were what the show was. And I told her, I said, if that was My Little Pony, call me a brony. Because I love that. Should we recommend to people who are My Little Pony fans to go watch the Hot Diggity Demon videos?
They've already seen it. If you haven't seen it, then you are obviously very new. Go back and see it. You'll enjoy it. Because everybody I can think of knows that pony sure does love apples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mimzinga says to you, Chris, so the question is best pony. At least best pony back at season 2.
Best pony at season 2 is Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, but that's your answer for all the time, always, ever.
Well, that's because it's part of the show.
Yeah.
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 Definitely not Twilight Sparkle.
No. I mean, she was actually all right in season 1, season 2. She was an almost...
Before she became a Mary Sue.
Yes. Oh, you misspelled Pinkie Pie. Ha! Joke's on you. I didn't spell a damn thing.
God, I love that meme. It's a funny way of spelling Pinkie Pie.
Yeah. Pinkie Pie is good. In the first 2 seasons, the one I actually detested the most was Rarity. Oddly enough. I don't know why. It's just something about her kind of was a turnoff.
Name is Pinkie Pie. And I am here to say
mine was Rarity. Well, then why did you say Pinkie Pie? What's wrong with you?
Well, because Rarity isn't spelled that way. It's spelled Pinkipie. Come on.
Look who misspelled it this time. I mean, the correct answer for least favorite pony is obviously Twist. Everyone's forgotten it, but it's Twist.
Who's Twist?
She's the stereotypical. I'm not going to say.
Oh,
yeah,
the one you showed me earlier.
The one I showed you the other. Yeah. Well, the thing is she is a lispy, stuttering, stammering backstabber of a friend.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who controls the world bank?
All right.
I'm sorry.
And
it's such an on the nose stereotype. I just can't help it. It's like, why would you do this?
Allow us to add the tender golden apple bottom in your sweet pony jeans. This has been the Foally of Man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us. So, for Chris, I'm Robert. This is the Foally of Man, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye. Bye-bye.